Hello everyone, so now we are going to discuss the interVLAN routing. Why we need this one actually? We need this one to make the communication between different VLAN. If you remember in our previous class what we told, we will create the VLAN to make the security, to make the separate. Why we are doing interVLAN? Why we are doing the VLAN? To reduce the broadcast domain. If you remember, we are creating the VLAN to reduce the broadcast domain. But now after learning how we can do VLAN and all the basic configuration, we have the another configuration, that is interVLAN. So why we need interVLAN? We need interVLAN to make the communication between two different VLAN or more than two different VLAN. Maybe you are saying, first we told when we are learning the CCNA or CCNA basic, we are saying we are using the VLAN to create the logical. Like example, I have one switch here, I will create logical switch, logical pieces of this switch. Like this will be for VLAN 10, this will be VLAN 20, like this we are doing. Okay, but now why first you are dividing, now you are saying you want to make the communication between different VLAN. Why we need to make the communication between different VLAN? Maybe you will have this question. Because in the real scenario we will have like HR guy, they want to communicate with the IT guy, or we have some sales guy, they need to communicate with the marketing guy. In the real scenario, we have this scenario, all guys need to communicate. If we want to block, we can block also. So if I use interVLAN, all these guys are able to communicate. Okay, so what first of all we need to define, interVLAN is used to make the communication between different VLAN. interVLAN is used to make the communication between different VLAN. So you are saying, okay, you are making the communication between different VLAN, but if I don't want to allow this HR guy to communicate with the sales, then what I can do? You can create the policy in the firewall. We have the firewall, we can create the policy. Maybe two guys from the HR should not communicate with the sales. We can create the policy depending upon the IP address or MAC address. We can create the policy in the firewall and we can block. Okay, we can block that one. So what first thing we need to allow? Why we are creating VLAN? To reduce the broadcast domain. If we did not create the different VLANs, if we did not organize by creating the VLAN, we will have the heavy broadcast in the network. To reduce the broadcast, we created VLAN. So broadcast is divided now. After that we will make interVLAN, so our traffic will communicate with all different VLAN. Okay, so what we can say, VLAN as we know, different VLAN cannot communicate, but with the help of interVLAN we can make the communication between different VLAN. Okay, interVLAN routing is a process of forwarding of the network traffic from one VLAN to another VLAN by using the router or layer 3 switch. You can define in your own words this one, understand the concept and you can write simple words. What we can say, VLAN, as we know, VLAN cannot allow to communicate different VLAN, but with the help of interVLAN we can make the communication between different VLAN, and we are using the router or layer 3 switch to make the interVLAN, to make the communication between different VLAN. We have three different methods to do the interVLAN routing. First one, we are saying that traditional method, this is known as router with separate interface. First method is router with separate interface. This is a traditional method we are not using, but even if some organization they are using, I notice this configuration, this what we can say, this type of design also they are using, small organization, that is router separate interface, but most of the companies are not using this one. Then second one, we have the router on a stick. This one also most of the companies are not using, but in some scenario I observed in the firewall we have this one. Example, let me draw the scenario. Imagine I have one firewall here, I have the ISP here. Okay, ISP connection is here, ISP, and if you see this firewall connection is connecting to the switch. Okay, and here we have the different VLAN. So what we done, this one we make this as a trunk here, and here we created this as a sub interface here. So we done, this is a what I can say switch. and here we have VLAN 1, VLAN 2, VLAN 3, like 10, VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40. So all guys traffic will go to this one by using the router on a stick. So in some companies you will notice this one, this is a firewall. So in the firewall they are creating the interface, sub interface, they are creating the sub interface. That is nothing but router on a stick. We will learn what is router on a stick, but now remember, in some organization we will get this router on a stick configuration, this method. This one very less, you cannot find this one, but some still using the old the small organization. Mostly you will notice this one in the organization. This one is you will see most of the organization is using layer 3 switch, that is SVI, switch virtual interface, to make the interVLAN. This is a mostly common in all the organization. This one you can check, you can find in some organization. This one is not at all, but maybe one or two you will get. Okay, so now let's do one by one. First one is, we are saying the first method, router with separate interface. Okay, so in this scenario what we are doing, if you see this scenario, here we have the switch here, and we have the HR guy, we have the IT guy. So here we have the two VLAN, this interface and this interface in the HR VLAN, and this interface in the IT VLAN. And here what we done, we taken one router and we configure this one. In this router we assign the same IP whatever we are using here, that class IP here, and for this one we assign here that class IP to this one, and here we put this interface as a VLAN 10 and this interface as a VLAN 20. What is the drawback here? You have only two VLAN, you connected two cable. If you imagine, if you have 100 VLAN in this one, then you need to connect the cable 100 times and put this one in VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30, VLAN 40, VLAN 60, VLAN 70, VLAN 80. That is not practical. We cannot connect. So that's why this method is not using in real scenario. Maybe one or two company they will use, but if you have more VLAN you cannot use this method. Why? What we are doing in this method? In this method, whatever, how many VLAN you have, that many number of cable you need to connect to router, and that many IP you need to assign. Because I am saying this IP, HR guy will have 192.168.10.2. Okay, so gateway, I am saying gateway should be 10.1. So I need to assign the gateway to this interface here. Same thing here, this is a 20.4, so I need to assign the 20.1 in this interface as a gateway. If you have one more interface, example, if you have another thing like 30.4, so you need to have one more cable. Okay, one more cable to this router, and you need to assign this here as a 30.1 and PC will be 30.4. So we have the limitation in the router, how many interface you will find. Maybe you can increase, maybe you will have 10, but if you have 50 VLAN, then we cannot use this method. That's why this method is not, we can see in the production network. Configuration is simple. What we done, create the VLAN, okay, create the VLAN all and put the port in the VLAN, and here just we are assigning the IP. Okay, anyhow let's do, if we do this one you will understand more. So let me do this one. This method, we can say this is a basic method. Let me do the scenario here. Let me check how much. So now what we will do, we will use the first method. First method, what we are calling that one, that is a traditional method, or if you want I can write here, we can call this one as a router with separate interface. Means each interface separately we need to use. Okay, let me increase this one, this size here. Traditional method or router with separate interface. So what I will do, we will take one switch here. Okay, I will take one switch here. I can give the name as a SW1 here, and then what we can do, we can take some PC. Let me do scenario. I will take two PC here. I will take two PC here. We can say IT or HR, any department here. I can connect here. I will write, I will take from here to here and here to here. And same thing as we do before in CCNA level also we done the VLAN, and here also we learn some basic, right? So let me take the different color here. We can take the color from here. I will take this one, I will say this is the some one department. Okay, and here I will change the color. I will say this is a different department. We can give different name, whatever name we want to give. I can go here, I will write here example, this is a HR department. Okay, HR department I will say, and I can define also what is the IP we are going to use, 192.168.1.1. Okay, 1.1 we can say this is a gateway is 1.1. Now I can go here, I will write here this is a IT department. Okay, we can give anything. I will write IT department, I will write 192.168.2.1. okay, 2.1. this is the gateway for this one. So now what we can do, we can assign the IP here. I will put the label 192.168.1.2 and I can copy and I can assign this in the machine. So I will go here, I will assign in the machine gateway, as we told we will have 1.1. So this is okay, and here also I will assign the IP. I will write here 1.3. I will go inside the device, I will assign the IP here, and here I can change this one as a 1.1. So this is ready. Now I can do for this one also. Here should be 2.2. so I will write 2.2 label and I can go inside the machine. I will assign here 2.2. so here should be 2.1. 2.1 will be gateway. Now we will go for this machine and we will assign here 2.3 and the default subnet mask and gateway will be 2.1. okay, so we done this one. Now we can do the configuration. Let me take one notepad so we can do a small configuration also. This lab name I can give as a router Intervlan, in the bracket router, what I can say, router with separate interface method. I will divide this here. Now I will go inside the switch configuration. First we will create the switch configuration and later we will check how we can do the router configuration. So first one, what I am doing here, switch 1 host name, and we need to create the VLAN. How many VLAN we have? VLAN 1, VLAN 10. Let me take 10 and let me change the IP, or let's take VLAN 10, no problem. VLAN 10 I will give the name as, what name I can give here, HR department, HR, and then I will create the VLAN 20. I will give name as a IT. Okay, and now I need to put the interface. If you remember how we will put in the interface, if you remember, we have the interface fast Ethernet 0/1 and fast Ethernet 0/2, this one. So these two interface. So what I will do here, interface range fast Ethernet 0/1-2. okay, I will select this one, then we write switch port mode axis, then switch port mode switch port axis, which VLAN we are saying 10. okay, so this command, and if you see this one, this is an interface fast Ethernet 0/3 0/4. so this is a 0/3, this is a 0/4. so what I will do here, I will write here interface range fast Ethernet 0/3-4. I selected the multiple interface. I will write switch port mode axis, and I will write switch port axis, which VLAN we told VLAN 20. okay, so this way we configure. This is a switch configuration. After doing this configuration, they are unable to communicate, separate VLAN we have, they will not work. okay, so now I will go here and I will paste this configuration here. Let me check, someone type something here, let me check. Range, okay, let me check, maybe I write some spelling mistake here. Yeah, thank you. So we will have the mistake there. Range here, let me copy paste from here. This is, I wrote correct, here I wrote some typing mistake. Okay, so now I will copy this one here. I will go here and I will paste here. So now everything is good, and we can check show VLAN brief. So if you see, we have two VLAN here and we have this port also. Now if we want to communicate, let me do fast forward. So now I can ping, this PC cannot work with other PC. Which PC? Same network they will work, let me write ping. I will write 192.168.1.1.3. okay, 1.3 means same what we can say, same VLAN it is working. And here 2.3 will not work because they are different network first of all, and they are in the different VLAN. 3.3 means this one. 3, no, we don't have 3, so we have 2.3. so let me cancel this. I will write here 2.3 or 2.2. so this is a 2.2. so I am pinging from here to here. Okay, two option we have here. Two, what we can say, first of all, this is different network, this is different network, they cannot communicate. We need to use the router, then only they can communicate. Okay, and also they are in different VLAN, they should not communicate, so they are not working. So to overcome these types of issue, what we are doing, we are going to use the what we can say, we are going to use the router to make the communication between this one. We are bringing one router, we can say this is a router with separate method, that is a traditional method. So what I will do, I will check how many VLAN we have. We have only one VLAN, or we have how many VLAN? We have two VLAN, HR and IT. So what I will do, I will connect two cable. I will connect from here to here. Okay, I will connect another cable from here to here. I connected two cable. Now you need to remember, first cable, if we have confusion, now let me see. First cable, this fast Ethernet 0/0 here is going to here, or let me remove one cable, one by one we will do, else we will confuse here. I will remove this cable. So now we have one cable. If you see fast Ethernet 0/5 here, it is connected to fast Ethernet 0/5. Okay, and this side will be 0/0. So I will say this first cable I will assign for the HR VLAN. So what I need to do for this one, I need to go inside the switch, and I need to put this what we can say, this interface in that particular VLAN. As we are saying, this cable I connected for the HR, so I need to assign this interface in the HR VLAN. So how we will assign, we will go in the global configuration mode, we will write fast Ethernet 0/5, then we will write switch port mode axis, and then we can write switch port axis VLAN. Which VLAN? HR VLAN is nothing but 10, so VLAN 10. Okay, this command we need to write. So let me copy this configuration and paste in the notepad. So this is a switch 1 configuration. Okay, so in the switch, what we done, in the switch we done this one. Let me correct here also, okay, so let me remove this. This is not there, and this is not there from here to here, and this is no need, this one is no need, and this one also no need. Okay, so this is a configuration. I put just this interface in that particular VLAN. And here in the router, what we will do, router configuration is simple, just we need to assign the IP address there. So what I will do here, R1 configuration, here I can write enable config t host name R1, and then here interface fast Ethernet 0/0, and I will write IP address, and we can give whatever IP we plan 1.1. If you remember, here we told 1.1, so we will give 1.1 255.255.255.0, and then we will write no shut here. That's all. Okay, this is the configuration for this link. So I will go inside the router, I will paste this configuration here. Let me paste this one. So this is good, everything is working fine here. I will save the configuration. Now we need to do for the other also, because we have two VLAN. How many VLAN we have? That many number of time we need to connect the cable. So first one is finished for the HR. Now I need to connect one more cable. So let's see this switch, which interface I am using, and here I am using which interface, fast Ethernet 0/6, and here fast Ethernet 0/1. So let me copy and paste. What we will do in the router, just we need to assign IP fast Ethernet 0/1. So I will go here fast Ethernet 0/1, and here we will keep as a 2. Okay, this one what we plan, we will use 192.168.2.1 as a gateway. So I use this one. I am saying 192.168.2.1. Here we are going to use this one. Okay, so this is only the configuration for the router side. So let me copy and paste in the router this one. I will paste in the router this one. So this is okay. And in the switch, what we need to do, switch configuration also very simple, like this only. Okay, but here we will have this should be 6 and this should be 20. What I done here, I am going inside this interface fast Ethernet 0/6. We are writing switch port mode axis, then we are saying switch port axis VLAN 20. Because this belongs to VLAN 20, we are keeping this one for the VLAN 20. This is a VLAN 20 here. Okay, if you see here we write VLAN 20 for the IT. If you have confusion, I can write here somewhere here. I can write here this is a VLAN 10 and this one is a VLAN 20. Let me write here. I will write here VLAN 20, this one. Okay, so now this configuration is good. I think I already paste here. Let me check I paste here or not. This is for VLAN 10. So now let me copy and paste the VLAN 20 configuration, this one. So I will copy and I will paste this configuration here. Okay, so this is finished. Now we can wait some time or we can do the fast forward here. Now you can ping again. Before it is not working, now it will work. Okay, let's see 192.168.2.2. it should work. What we will have our traffic, now it is working. So how our traffic is going here, our traffic when I am pinging, it is go to our gateway here like this, then again it will come like this way and it will go like this way. Okay, this way they are going the traffic. So what we can say, this is a inter-VLAN. Why we use the inter-VLAN? To make the communication between different VLAN, we use the inter-VLAN. So what we are doing, we are taking that traffic from here, it will go to the default gateway. This is the gateway, we keep default gateway. Here we assign the IP. What IP we assign? 192.168.1.1. And here what IP we assign? 192.168.2.1. 2.1. In this PC, in all this PC we assign this as a gateway, default gateway. In all this PC we assign this as a default gateway. So this traffic will go to this default gateway. From here it will come to this one and here it will go. So now what we can say, different VLAN can communicate. We have no issue, different VLAN can communicate now. If you see, different VLAN can communicate. So let me write here the IP so you can check this later. You can practice. When you are practicing, you can have the reference of this one. Let me write here. Okay, so this IP I assign here, this IP I assign here, this way. And also if you want to write me here, I will write this one as a VLAN 10. I put this interface in the VLAN 10 and this interface I put in the VLAN 20. VLAN 20, this one. Okay, so what we can say here, this is the inter-VLAN by using the router with separate interface, or traditional method also we can say. Okay, so this is a VLAN part 1. This is a inter-VLAN part 1. We will have part 2. We will do in the part 2 router on it.